Welcome in, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. I hope everybody's doing great. It's Friday. Y'all made it. Y'all made it to Friday, y'all. Um, first of all, the people that messaged me this morning with text messages. If you guys want to come up here, it, you can request. But if you don't, I'm not going to put your names out there because I just don't think that that's necessary. Hey, Scam. That may or may not
Referring to.
What was that?
I said, I think I'm one of the people you're referring to.
Yes. If there's anybody else, I got messages on Discord and all that too. If there's anybody else that wants to come up here, by all means, you may do that. Oh boy. Scam. Part of me says keep everything vague. And then part of me says try to fill in some of the holes that weren't answered last night during the main live.
Right. Because we talked last night in your live that it basically created a lot of questions and there was a lot of things that were unclear to us and I'm sure a lot of other people. But honestly, after seeing what was found between last night and this morning, it pretty much it answers some of those,
Right.
and it pretty much I don't know, gives us confidence in what we believe now.
Yeah. And I'm gonna throw this out there one more time for Guardians of Valor. I think you owe it to some of us to uh, come in and um, discuss why you did what you did and answer some of our questions. In reality, I don't think you will do that, especially based on everything that we've read. So this is the only other time I'm going to give him the opportunity to come in. After that, this will be blocked also, because I'm 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 not going to give him any more time. Either we get some clarification or answers, in the next 45 minutes, or that says everything. We know he listened last night, to the main live. I'm sure he listened to the other lives, so he's aware that when any of us go on, especially today, there's probably going to be discussion on it.
A lot of people in the chat are asking what they missed, and they need a recap. And I know it's a lot, but the chat's definitely asking for a recap of
Okay.
what's going on.
Well, I'll start out, okay, because I'm actually trying to eat lunch now. And I know when I chew, people get pissed off, so I don't want to be doing that. Um, so there was a live last night, all about Guardians of Valor. Um, and it brought out some concerning information about him, as to whether he is the person that he portrays himself to be on social media. Um, so, and it's tough to say. What I can 100% say is this. I can 100% say that there was a creator on here called Lines Were Crossed, who was helping out Homie, who had helped me out months ago. And Homie verified that that person and Guardians of Valor are the same person. They just use different uh, TikTok different TikTok names. That's number one. That alone is enough for me to say, you lied to me. You were not truthful about who you are. And then it comes out that there was somebody that was in Homie's lives a lot, and he was actually a mod whose name was Pops. Pops came in here one time when Guardians was in a box, and Guardians introduced all of us to his best friend Pops, who's known him for however many years. It turns out that Pops and Guardians are the exact same person too, with he using different names. Now, all of that stuff was verified in a number of different ways, and we actually found out another way last night that it ties him to Pops. That yes, Guardians of Valor. That ties Pops and Guardians to to be the same person. And there was, to be honest, this is where I kind of, will say allegedly, because to me, I really didn't see a lot of proof that that it was happening. They said that Guardians had threatened a number of people on the app. Now, I thought that there were going to be messages, a lot of messages posted with him threatening people. I think that there was one where he threatened somebody as Pops. I didn't watch the whole live, but from what people told me, there wasn't a lot of evidence on that. But whether it's one or it's 1,000, obviously that's a concern. The other concern is that he did ask for money from somebody. And there was a woman that did send him money for various reasons that he listed. But I'm interested. I would be interested in seeing more of those messages between this woman and him, because the fact is, yes, she did send him money. He did say his wife passed away, but would you say, Scam, that we're pretty confident that his wife did not pass away?
Yes, 100%. Yes.
Okay, so
the thing was, I never heard him say that his wife passed away. I mean, I didn't have personal conversations. Originally gotten in contact with me regarding a scammer I was covering named Chad Ritter. And he said that he had information on him, and he had sent me a couple of emails about that situation. So I never heard him say that. So that's another thing, like where
he said it in my chat one time.
Oh, okay.
I remember he
so
put it in the chat.
verified. See, that was one of the things that confused me too, because I thought, well, where in messages or recordings has he made that claim?
Yeah,
Because
he made that.
before.
Yeah, he made that in my live, and I want to say he also mentioned it in a box when he said, it's been tough for him since his wife passed away, and so yeah, I
okay.
remember that. I remember him saying that. So
Okay.
we've so that is a lie.
But yes, I mean, if he is that person with that name, which looks that way, it's a completely different name than what he's given out online to people, and it's a completely different name than he put in his emails to me.
Yep.
Completely different. Then yes, his wife is very much alive. Yes.
I would also like to add that he said she passed from breast cancer.
Another person lying about cancer on this app, or doing shitty things like stealing money from cancer patients. Never thought I'd be putting those two guys in the same area, that's for sure.
Right.
But what I would like to know because it would, it would verify a lot of things. As if he was trying to pursue Stacy. So do we check him in the category of also going after people that could very well be elderly? I don't know how old Stacy is. Um, was he doing that? Was he trying to romance her out of money? I mean, I don't know. I don't know, but so they also said there was thousands of dollars or close to $1,000 of money that was sent to him. I think that I would have liked to see more receipts. Not again because I don't believe it. I do because the little bit that they did show. It was clear that Guardians was in contact with this Stacy woman, and there was discussion about he needed money. So, but one very important thing that we heard last night, and I'm not going to say where we heard it, but somebody slipped and said his last name. That we believe to be his last name. And with that information, there were some people that did some searching and started asking some questions and was able to find out where he actually lives. He had told me, if I'm not mistaken, I think he told me he lived in Miami. Or he lived in Florida at least. And that is under scrutiny now. There's a lot under scrutiny. I don't really believe anything he says. I'm concerned, about a lot of behaviors he had on here. And, I did read. Do we want to talk about that? Do we want to talk about that blog post scam?
I mean, we can. They showed it on the screen at the very end of their live last night, but just said, they didn't, it was so small and you couldn't read it. And they said, well, everybody can just like look it up and read it for yourself type thing. So that's why it was really small on the screen and I couldn't see it. And so, yeah, I did go searching for the blog post. I think it would have been helpful to read that. I mean, I can read it word for word if you want. I don't know what
think, you know what? I think that maybe we do that, or you can do that here, and I'm gonna preface it with this was a blog post that is found on the internet. There are a lot of allegations in there, to which we do not know the accuracy of the information, but I think based on the circumstances, again, I'm not telling anybody whether or not to believe the information we put out or the information that was put out in the lives last night. You can listen to it and make your own decision, but this is from a blog. What's the name of the blog, Scam?
Well, it has his alleged name on it, and I didn't know if we wanted to put that out.
No,
And that's the thing. They said, well, anybody can just go look up the blog post and read it for themselves. Well, you can't find it unless you do know his full name. So, that's what was, yeah. But anyway, it has his name there, his alleged name there, and then it says scam artist, and it's a blog post from September 25th, 2017.
Go for it.
So you want me to read it? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to
Well,
skip over some of
there's
the
several
stuff.
sections to it, so I'll start with the main one, and then there's like kind of categories to it about details. But I'll read this the main part of the blog post, okay? And they had put out that the Cash App name that monies were sent to, that the Cash App name started with James. So, you know, the first name James. So instead of reading his full name and different things that are in this blog post, I'll just say James. How about that?
Perfect.
Okay. Because we believe his name may be James. It says, to all people renting, leasing, hunting land, and all others, please be advised of a local scam artist who may try to lease your property for hunting this deer season. James of, and it gives a city in New York, is a career scam artist and hunter. James usually runs scam businesses in the home construction and masonry fields. James victims, past business partners, employers, and past employees report that James has stolen property and cash from their residences and businesses once he has access to them. In the past, he has also used the addresses of property he had permission to hunt on in relation to his scams. And on several occasions, James has attempted to sell land and homes that he did not own. More recently, James was arrested in the town of, and he gives a town name in New York, for the theft of a generator in connection with his scam. And he names the name of a repair business that James allegedly owned. In addition, James also claims to be an ex-Marine who served and was wounded in the Gulf War. He is claimed to be a Marine sniper and special team leader. He also claims to have been a survivor of the Black Hawk Down incident. James has also claimed to be a retired federal agent, a FEMA investigator at the 9/11 site in New York City, and he carries a fake badge that he likes to casually flash to back up his claim. James was also arrested in the early 1990s in the city of, and they give a city name in New York, for impersonating a police officer. James also likes to carry a set of handcuffs next to his pew-pew so that people assume he is a police officer. The truth is, James was never a Marine, and in fact, was in the Navy for approximately 5 months, never making it past student recruit. His real military record can be found posted here, and there is a document posted as part of this blog post. There is a continuing investigation going on into James's activities as to what is listed here. This is the only tip of the iceberg where this individual is concerned. If you are contacted by James in regards to using your property for the purpose of hunting, it would be to your benefit not to allow him access to it. James would have been eligible to be charged under the Stolen Valor Act and is eligible to be charged under Title 18 U.S. codes for impersonating military personnel and a federal employee. Fines and prison time for these charges would be doubled because James has violated them for personal gain. James has also operated several scam businesses in the past, mostly in some home construction encounter with James in the passion and records concerning this investigation. Statements and evidence can be added to the file on James, and in addition, the client has authorized the release of information in the file to anyone else pursuing a court case against TV and making possible these public domain photos of himself. I don't know that he was on public TV. That I haven't found yet. Just saying. Further update. Not very happy about them. In addition, I have been contacted by the owner of property James used to hunt on, who states that they have been receiving threats from James after the hunting rights, and James was informed he could no longer hunt there as a result. In this case, James also behaved in a threatening manner, while armed, toward the person, the landowner, he had hired to maintain the property. These type of actions and his past history of same are only one reason why I place these advisories about James online. No one should have to fear or be intimidated by this person. If anyone else is having similar issues with James, and a criminal or civil case is forthcoming as a result, please have the investigating officer or your attorney contact me, and I will gladly supply them with copies of the file that I have on James. And then there are different sections to it. And there are some examples of where James allegedly scammed people with some of his home construction scams, is what they call it. And there is a document that, we haven't verified, but,
Hold on.
there's.
Hold on. Scam, hold on a minute.
Mhm.
Guys, welcome in. I know a lot of people have come in. We're just kind of glossing over some information that was found after the live on Guardians of Valor last night. This is a post that somebody posted regarding him. And Scam just read what the person wrote in the post. Now, Scam, when you're done there, if you don't mind, will you just not even read it, but go over what he was charged with and what happened with those cases?
Yes. So this person whoever posted this blog post gives some examples with some backup documentation as to things that James has allegedly been involved with in the past. The first example is what he was calling the poster was calling a home construction scam. And basically they were saying that James failed to file for permits within the town to perform the work, that he hired unqualified help to do construction and electrical work, that things didn't pass code inspections and had to be redone by other contractors at an additional cost, did plumbing work that leaked, installed new windows that actually fell out of the frames, failed to provide safety measures. There's also allegations of failing to have the proper insurance for his construction business. And then various victims of his scams allegedly have expressed fear of harassment and threats afterwards. They state that many people declined to even make any signed statements because of the fear. They failed to like notify the police or take action legally because they were fearful of him. Let me see. What else? So there's and there's examples here of some documents of some individuals who did actually file some things and or contact the police, and they are elderly victims. There is a document here where James borrowed somehow $18,000 to buy a vehicle and never paid the person back. And they said that it was an elderly woman, and James took her for over $18,000 with the help of a relative that was supposed to be her guardian. So there's that. I'm just scrolling through here. There's another document here.
Take your time.
I'm sorry?
Take your time.
Okay. There's another section here where the poster says that James often ran these businesses as LLCs, so that way he could not be personally sued for his scams, and that he would find other individuals to go into business with to front him startup money and or activities until James had run the business into the ground and had defrauded clients. They provide a document alleging to show an arrest in 1990 in a city in New York for impersonating a police officer. And then the very last thing I think that I have on the blog post topic is that there is a document, and I'm not sure how to verify this or anything, but there is a document here, and at the top it says information releasable under the Freedom of Information Act. And it shows James's name at the top, and then it says branch of service, and it says U.S. Navy, service number is confidential, and then it says dates of service, April 25th, 1984 to September 11th, 1984. So that's what, 5 months? I don't know if there are any other records.
Wow.
And again, this is not verified. I mean, this is just a screenshot of a document that's posted on this blog post. I don't know how to, verify
Right.
this, honestly.
Right. Oh, Lord.
Can I tell them what really sealed the deal for me with knowing finally? Because I was confused the whole time last night. I was confused as what is the connection for sure to prove or show that Guardians of Valor is the same account, is the same person as Papa, right? Like I was like, how do we know they're not two separate people? How do we know that there's not some other guy named Papa who's just scamming her and then trying to blame it on Guardians of Valor or something like that? Can I talk about that from the Facebook?
Listen, you can talk about whatever you want.
Okay.
But,
So how I found.
Hold on. I think that we should you should start everything with allegedly or based
Okay,
on
allegedly.
or
Marlisa, I'm sorry, it's Pops, not Papa. Pops. I apologize.
Can I allegedly tell you what I tied together before you start so I can go?
yeah.
Okay, because I have other things I need to do. Whenever James ordered freshies from me, he was sending one to his daughter, who just so happened to have the same last name as the James PayPal account that Guardian of Valor said belonged to Pops. And also Stacy, the one that was in the box last night that got taken for almost $1,000. He had also purchased one for
We don't
her.
know that. We don't know. We don't know if it was almost 1,000. I mean, she only showed receipts of 450. So
Just repeating what she said.
yep. So
So anyway, the freshie to his daughter has the same last name as Pops on the PayPal. That's all I wanted to say.
yep.
And that name is his real daughter's name. Adult daughter, I will add. So what really did it for me was, once we did know the name, we were able to find this blog post. We obviously were searching around because, again, last night I was confused as to where is there proof that Guardians of Valor is the same person as Pops. How are these two accounts connected? How do we verify that, right? I know Homie said that he talked to Pops on the phone and they sounded the same. Their voices sounded the same. So that was something that could put, definitely put a connection there. But so since the name was out there, again, we did look into it. I came across James's Facebook account, Not the one that they were talking about last night. They were talking about some Facebook account with the name Bill Petty. I've never seen that Bill Petty account. And I couldn't find any called that. But there's an account that has the name James on it. And when you look at his Facebook account and click the About section, you know how you can put in there I don't know, maybe you don't if you're not on Facebook, but there's a section on there where you can put any other names that you have, like a nickname. And it says Pops as his other name.
Yep.
And this is definitely his Facebook account. He doesn't have photos and stuff on there, but he is tagged all over Facebook by other family members. He responds to his wife on Facebook saying, oh, whatever, my beautiful wife, blah, blah, blah. So it's definitely his account, and his nickname is Pops.
Yeah, and just so you know, all this information will be sent over to Homie, so he's got it. So he's aware that his inclinations were correct. Also, I'll tell you, it's yeah, it is unbelievable. It is absolutely unbelievable. Is there anything else, Scam, from those those papers that you want to comment on? Anything else that you think is important to put out there? And let me tell you too. First of all, I was reading some of the comments last night in the chat, and I have to say that I am very disappointed that during that live, the first live regarding Gov, I'm very disappointed that whatever was going on over there, that the mods were not watching the comments, because there were people that were saying very defamatory things about me in there. Which is absolute bullshit, because I found out all this information regarding Guardians the same time everybody else did, because I was not aware of it. And one of the other reasons why I wanted to go live today was because I wanted to show everybody that myself and others are not hiding anything. When we heard about last night, and I had gone live after Homie, and we said we have a lot more questions than answers. There were people that decided to take some time last night and do some digging into the situation. And, that's why we're putting this information out. Because it's important to show, there was information that led us last night to where we are now. And absolutely, no, we are not hiding anything. We were T-boned just like everybody else here.
Yeah, and this is not anything that we would sweep under the rug. Obviously, we want the truth exposed also. You guys know that myself and Scammy, we stand on the truth, we stand on facts, and we're putting that out to you as we're getting it. These are things that we were not previously aware of, and we have no problem putting this information out for all to see.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah. I'm basing on the fact that I've been on now for over a half hour, and he has decided not to come in or not to make a comment or anything. That pretty much tells me a lot right there. You know. Um, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, sorry, excuse me.
No. What was that, Breeze?
I was just saying, speaking on the connections between, because I was also, confused about the whole pops and stuff. So one thing also that we came across is this is a post from the pops TikTok account, and it's saying this is my Facebook group, Harley Swap Shop. Basically just saying, hey, and this is on the pops TikTok account. And then if you go to that actual group, he's a moderator on it, and it's the same name.
Let me big box you here, okay?
Okay. That's the original post saying, hey, here's my, this is on Pop's TikTok page. This is my Facebook group. And then you go to the Facebook group, and the same person is a moderator on it. So that was another connection that sealed it for Pops connected to Guardians.
Yeah. So, I don't know if there's anything else, Scam, that you want to put out there from what you found.
Let me take a look.
And while she's doing questions, we can try to answer what we know, because it is very confusing. I mean, I had more questions than answers, after last night. So, we wanted to. But that is interesting is that he did. I got emails from him that had a different name. He used different TikTok name. He has a different name. So, based on everything, the information that, people had researched last night, I'm confident that, based on what Scam found and other people found that, he's a fraud. He's a fraud, and it seems like it's been going on for a long time. Long time.
So I do have something else on the Pops account recently, like September 27th. There's a post, and the title, it's posted by whoever Pops was at the time, allegedly, and the title says "Talk About Hypocrites," and it has to do with talking about Janet and Tim and Angela and all of that, and he tagged the Guardians of Valor account in this post.
Right.
And the title on it says, "Now I'm pissed. Guardians of Valor went out of his way to get this lady's money back. Now they're going to put a false jacket on him. F you people. How dare you talk about him like this and spread lies." And again, this is posted on the Pops account. So making it look like Pops, his, the friend, is sticking up for, Guardians of Valor, pissed that someone is making some type of allegation. And then, if you look at the comments on that post, it's still there. You can go look at it. He's actually talking back and forth to himself.
Right.
Which is just bizarre to me with these two accounts.
It's diabolical.
So in the comments, Guardians of Valor says, "Pops, it's okay. Please don't get worked up. I appreciate you, my brother, but they are not worth the aggravation." And then Pops replies, and well, it's not a direct reply, but it's right there. Pop says, I get it, but that was wrong of them after you were the only one that got things done. Very disrespectful.
Yeah.
So he's making, and I'm sure there's other examples because I didn't go through all the comments on all of, Guardian's posts. I didn't go through all of Pop's posts. You guys probably could find more than I did. That was just one example I happened to come across quickly early this morning where, we know now for sure. I mean, I'm sure after finding what I found, I'm sure that they're the same account now. And he's talking back and forth to himself, pretending to be two different people.
Right.
They also use a lot of the same hashtags on the Guardians of Valor account and the Pops account. I noticed if you look at their videos, a lot of their hashtags are the same in a lot of their videos, which I know a lot of people use common hashtags, but there was a lot of them in a lot of those videos that were the same hashtags.
Somebody asked, did he ride a motorcycle by chance? Well, he had a Harley Davidson swap shop, whatever that is. I mean, I have no clue what that is because I don't have anything to do with motorcycling or anything. But
Yeah, probably he there have been, if he's running this Harley group, I would suspect yes.
Yeah, he's a mod on it, and he made a lot of posts on there about like people being careful not to get scammed, and
yeah,
and stuff like
that
that.
was
So it's
fun.
kind of
That was
ironic.
interesting. That was interesting, huh? Don't get scammed. Very weird.
And I'm honestly not seeing any connection to Florida. I know, Scammy, you said that he told you that he lived in Florida.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any connection to Florida at all with what I came across so far.
Yep. Yeah. No, he had told me that he was in Florida and that when the whole thing was going on with Sean, he said, well, if he needs to fly up, he'll be a character witness. And he said, and I'll wear my uniform there and everything.
I've seen someone in the chat said he was retiring there. Well, I don't know. Maybe he was trying to collect up money to retire there. I mean, what kind of retire? I'm just speculating now. What type of retirement does a person get from the military if they only had served for 5 months?
Allegedly. Because
Says yes, he bought a condo there when he sold his house out of New York. What house did he sell in New York? Because I still have record of ownership of a house in New York. Yeah, see, I didn't know that I never heard him say he lived in Florida either. I guess I just don't, I didn't pay attention to the personal stuff he said. He never said them to me personally, and when he was saying them in lives, I probably just didn't pay attention to that because it was something that didn't really concern me.
The person who made the comment about I've known him for 3 years, I knew him. Did you have did anything ever strike you as being a little off or?
Yeah, Sammy Joe, his wife did not pass away. And I'm not seeing any record of a property in Florida. Maybe there is somewhere. If you find that, if you know a way, let me know. Supposedly the one he raised his family in, he sent us photos of the condo. It was beautiful. How do you know it was his condo?
Right. It's like
you're talking about a condo in New York or a condo in Florida?
Everything now is in question because according to what Adam said in the live last night, Stacy got a picture of a knee brace that he sent the picture to Stacy regarding his knee surgery and how he needed the brace and he needed money for it. And according to what Adam said, they did a Google search on a reverse image search, and they found that same identical picture on Facebook.
Yeah, I did not see any record of any residents or even any visits amongst him and his family to Florida. So,
Yeah.
and I haven't seen it, and I did not see any photos posted
Stacy,
of
what did you say?
condo.
Stacy, what do you say? Unless I missed it, what did you say you have? 'Cause you said you have it.
Here, I'll drop down. I just wanted to show those that if Stacy wants to come up, but I'll be in the comments.
Yeah, he said it. Yeah, he did say his wife passed away. Absolutely, he said that in my live.
Yeah, we don't. That allegedly is not true. It appears that she is alive.
There is a whole live about truth and scammy. Okay, good.
Why?
Who the hell knows?
That's every day.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't believe he was in the police force. Allegedly, I might have found some record that he had been a corrections officer at some point.
Yes, yes, I did see that. Well, I'm going to tell you this. After this live, right now, I'm not discussing it anymore. Because wait a minute. He said there was a 3-hour time difference where he lives. Well, where do you live, on the West Coast, or where do you live? The person that said that, because he could be in 3-hour difference if you're on the West Coast.
Yeah, he's allegedly on the East Coast. So
Hey, Dala.
that's right, hot pink girl. The truth always ends up coming out, right? And I mean, I have screenshots of the blog posts. I have screenshots of the documents that are posted on there. I have screenshots where he refers to himself as Pops on his Facebook account and all of that. So,
And all the things.
yeah, all the things. I have screenshots of all the things. Yes.
And yeah, of course.
Yes, Fliz.
Hold on, these comments are going so fast.
Yeah.
I'm
But yeah,
trying.
Fliz, I'll be posting it.
Yeah,
I'll be posting the live on my YouTube. If you missed the one from last night, that is posted as well.
Lily, I don't think so. What up? I can see your texts. I can see your text. I don't see that you're blocked. So yeah, as I said, all I had to hear last night. I mean, the stuff I heard on that first live, um, was enough for me to question a lot of stuff. And when I heard what Homie said regarding the connection between Lines Were Crossed and Guardians of Valor, that was enough for me to know that there was something shady going on, because again, I had been in contact multiple times with Lines Are Crossed, and then all of a sudden that person disappeared, and it seemed like GOV kind of appeared after that, but he never told me that he had been another account, which would have been nice to know that. You know, it's just it's not. I don't know why he would hide that unless he was trying to hide something.
Yeah, I truly
It's
believe
concerning.
that this may have been going on for a while. It this is just my opinion, right? This is just my thoughts, my speculation. All right. I speculate that he's been doing this for a while, maybe creating an account, getting in good with some people, um, you know, possibly scamming others in the past, maybe causing some chaos along the way and confusion. And when the heat gets on him, like it has now, you know, maybe, you know, he just starts a new account and
Yep.
takes on some like different persona.
Yep. And
Um,
you know, and I wonder, scam. You know, like you said, right before you said it, I was thinking to myself, I wonder who he was before his lines were crossed.
right, right. I truly believe he's had other profiles before all of that. He may have even not been in, you know, the awareness side of things, involved in that at all. You know, he could have been getting involved in other areas of TikTok. And so we just didn't personally encounter him with previous usernames. But I do truly believe that he has had a pattern of possibly doing this for quite a while. This doesn't seem like it's his first time doing this. He seemed very skilled in what he was doing and the manipulations that he was using. And I think he knew, I mean, I think he knew that, you know, the shit was going to hit the fan. And that's why he's been distant. If you notice, like I hadn't seen him in any live streams over the past like maybe 2 or 3 days ever since he knew that live was going to happen last night. You know, I think he knew that he knew that we were smart enough that we everybody was getting putting two and two together and figuring this stuff out, and that, you know, the gig was up.
And you know,
um
scam, I didn't know, as you didn't know about any of this stuff until last night. You know.
no, like I when they were discussing things happening to Cassidy and JC, and there was another woman who apparently received some type of threat, like I had no knowledge of any of that.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any knowledge of him doxing anyone with that Facebook account that
No.
they showed.
No.
We had
No.
no knowledge of that. Like I didn't even know about that Facebook account. I don't follow anybody from TikTok on my Facebook. I've never seen that Facebook account before. So, and he didn't tell us that he did that. Like we had no knowledge of that.
Yeah.
And that's something that we don't condone. We don't condone or approve of anybody doxing anyone. And we didn't know that happened until we saw those screenshots.
Yeah. I don't. My Facebook is locked down. Um, I barely go on that, and there's one person on here on TikTok that I follow, and it's definitely not him. Not him. He. I got a message. Excuse me. I got a message from him. I think it was Monday, where he was saying he had to have emergency knee surgery. Thank you, Tracy. And you know, again, there's just not. Thank you for all the blessings. There's I don't even know if that's true. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can't really judge anything. You can't take anything that he says at his word. You know, based on everything that has come out and that has been found out. So, um, you know, needless to say, you know, as I said, so I've been on for an hour. Um, he has not come in to explain any of this. He's not blocked on here. He is going to be blocked after this live. You know, based on everything I've seen, I wish whoever he is good luck, but I want, you know, I don't want any association with him. You know, he is blocked from the discords and all that, and the only way that he can contact me now is through my Scammyclaus at gmail.com. You know, because I'm washing my hands of this. Um, you know, there were a lot of us that were taken aback by all this information. Um, a lot of us were burned. A lot of us, a lot of us were burned.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I didn't know a lot about him personally. He never told me anything personal about himself or his family or anything like that. We only talked about him and I primarily just emailed back and forth regarding Chad Ritter. Um and that but he used a completely different name in those emails, and yeah, it's not any of the names that we've come across. It seems to be someone that he just made up. Honestly, I believe for somebody to do what he did, not only is it, you know, just really horrible to scam someone, but I think there's more to it, because the manipulation and the lying and all of the coordination it took to try to maintain these two different accounts and to be, you know, Mexican homies mod and then pretending to be Guardians of Valor at the same time, like, and all these messages, you know, apparently that he had with Stacy and possibly other individuals. Like this was a time consuming and bizarre
No, not
and
Sean.
and actually very creepy thing to do when you think about it. And I really think he needs some professional help to do something like this and be creating these personas and characters that he's playing like he's in some kind of movie, when, you know, he's actually affecting real people's, you know, lives and emotions and all of that, you know. um
Exactly. Exactly. So he's a little old man. Who knows?
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the tactics that were used were very, you know, calculated, and I really believe that for someone to go to the lengths that he has to try to pull off this whole thing, you know, he needs some professional help. And you know what, Skimmy, there was something, you know, I tried to put the pieces together when I rewatched the live from last night that they held,
Right.
because there was some things that I missed maybe the first time because there were screenshots showed, but you couldn't really read them, and they weren't read out loud or anything like that. So I was able to watch it again and pause it and, you know, make it bigger so I could read it and see some of the stuff. And so it was very beneficial for me to watch it again. So if you didn't see it, I would encourage you to watch it and actually look at, you know, the screenshots and, you know, make it bigger or do whatever you need to do to try to be able to read those, because some of the things made a little bit more sense once I was able to watch it the second time. Some of the things were not clear to me the first time because I wasn't able to see all the details, but some things did become more clear the second time around.
Somebody just made an interesting comment in the chat. And to paraphrase, the person said, I wanted to talk to him about him being in the Navy, and he never wanted to have the conversation.
Hmm.
Something like that.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'll be blocking all of the accounts that I'm aware of his. I honestly don't think he will come back. I think that he will deactivate those accounts and try to come back as someone else. And so just be on the lookout. Be
Yes.
very careful in case he does try to come back,
Mhm.
or if he does try to contact you from any of his existing accounts and tries to convince you that everybody's lying on him, or oh, they're just doing this for attention, because that's the kind of stuff he would say. That's not the case. Okay, so if he does try to contact anybody here with any of his accounts,
Yeah.
just please block him. Do not fall for it. He might try to come back and try to convince even just a few people that somehow he's the victim, he's been wronged, that our information is not accurate, and we're just doing this for attention, and all of that. Don't believe that. Don't believe that.
Sam, where is the repost of that live?
Uh, of their live, I'm not sure. I think they said that one of their people was going to post it on YouTube. I know that the original host had I think they were posting some clips on their TikTok.
Right.
Um, but I mean, your live from last night is on my
Right.
YouTube.
Right.
So,
Yeah, but
but
if people missed that first live,
checkmate. They're saying checkmate.
is that the name on YT? KK, are you sure KK has it too? So it looks like there's a lot of names. There's a lot of names you can look for. Birdie, um, KK, K Krissa, Checkmate, possibly. So, yeah. Um,
Oh, I know what else I was going to say. When I watched it the second time last night, I had missed something the first time, and watching it the second time, I picked up on it. Stacy had said that Guardians had talked a lot about the reward money. And at first I thought, well, yeah, of course he was putting that out there, right? Oh, there's a reward for the arrest of Florida man. There's reward money, reward money. But she made it seem like as if he was interested in it. And, that I would say now at this point, could be a possibility,
yeah.
because he was trying to scam people out of money. He scammed Stacy out of money for sure. I don't know if there's anybody else. I think that there was an allegation made that he scammed thousands from people. I've only seen evidence of what they showed from Stacy, so I haven't seen evidence of anybody else, but maybe some more individuals will come forward or something like that. But maybe that's why he wanted to be so involved in that whole effort. Maybe he did want that reward money. Who's to say?
Yep. Yep. Stacy's was almost 1,000. Yeah, uh, with this whole situation, I'm basing. Oh, so she does think that he was trying to romance scam. Stacy.
Oh my. See, I suspected that, but I didn't really want to, I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to think it.
Well,
Um,
considering the fact he lied about his wife passing away, and quite honestly, and Stacy, I don't want you to put anything in the chat. I'm not aware of, any. I'm not sure who Stacy is other than what I saw last night. Thank you for coming in. I don't know anything about her. I don't know if she's married, not married, widowed, whatever. But considering he was lying about, um, his wife passing away, and he looked like he was trying to cozy up with somebody. Um, mm, it just kind of, the alarm bells start going off a little bit regarding that. But
Yeah, I suspected that just because, um, honestly, on my platform, we have covered romance scams quite a lot, and um, that is something typical that a romance scammer will claim is that their spouse passed away, they're a widow, they're
oh, wait a
taking
minute,
care of
wait a
their.
minute, scam. He
Mhm.
was looking for someone to go to Florida to help him take care of him because of his leg.
Oh my.
Mm, wow.
Yeah. I mean, these are things that, and they will typically say that maybe they have a health issue. I mean, how many times in the romance scams have we seen the romance scammer send the victim, like a Photoshop picture of them being in the hospital or something?
He said he
We see
said
that all the
scam.
time.
He
Hmm.
said he was losing his leg. So he is
What?
Tim Nash.
Yeah, who's he getting these tips from?
Oh my God. This is crazy. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, these are, once that information came out, um, yeah, once certain information came out, I saw a lot of correlation with the typical red flags that we see with, the romance scams. And so I did suspect that he may be trying to do that. They
Sam.
they,
Hold on. I hate to keep interrupting, but these comments are going so fast, and I want to read it. Somebody said he told me he loved me and he would clear a burning field to save me.
oh my goodness. Ugh,
Mm.
I'm so sorry. And see, that's the thing with the romance scams too. And we've talked about this. It's not just the loss of the finances that you got scammed out of. It's the emotional trauma and loss that you go
And the
through.
trust. And the
Yes,
trust.
absolutely. Absolutely. And it I know that it has to be a very difficult time for you right now, Stacy, because you feel like you lost a good friend. You thought that you knew someone, and that this was someone that you did trust and that you were close with, and to find out that they were a complete fraud is just devastating. And I think that part is actually a lot of times worse than any financial effect that it may have
Oh,
on
yeah.
a romance scam
Yeah.
victim.
Mm. Yes, Pops is Guardians of Valor. Yep. Yes, Pops and Guardians of Valor are the same person.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, um, he was not involved in anything financial related with, you know, with me or Scammy or the reward money or anything like that. But he may have had ulterior motives. He might have been looking at that reward money, and thinking he could get that. That's definitely not going to happen now. I don't.
Yeah.
But he may have had. It's just you have to be careful because there are so many people out there that have ulterior motives. They seem like they are good intentioned. They seem like they are honorable and trustworthy people, and they have ulterior motives. And it's just another reminder, um, of just how careful we all need to be. And it's a lesson learned to be even more careful in the future for all of us. All of us.
Mitch, your question, are there clips of their voices to compare? From what I understand, Homie said in his live last night that he's talked to Pop several times on the phone, and indeed his voice does sound similar
Yes, homie
to
did say that.
Guardians.
People, someone in the comments said people were asking if he's stolen valor. Okay, so what I can tell you is that I came
Allegedly.
across.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I came across a document and I cannot verify the authenticity, but it states the name on it, his alleged name on this document. It states branch of service as U.S. Navy, and it states that the dates of service were April 25th, 1984 to September 11th, 1984. So that is 5 months. And it does say duty status, it just says discharged. So there is no more information. And it says that he was a recruit. His rank was seaman recruit. So, but I cannot verify the authenticity of this document. It is a document posted by someone else. I don't know what their source was, and it's posted online on a blog. But that is the only information, that unverified information that we have.
Correct. And I'm looking to see if there's any other questions that are in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, once we had an alleged name, we found all like everything out within a matter of just a few hours of looking around.
Yeah, I agree, Miss Bev.
Right, Ms. Bev? Yeah. And again, just another another reminder too, to not send money to anyone on TikTok. And I'm not trying to, shame Stacy in any way for
Oh, not at all.
wanting to, help him. These scammers are very skilled in what they do, and this is why I do not believe it was his first time.
Mm-mm. No, I agree. I agree with that. And based on that blog post that person wrote, it seems as though he may have been involved in some shady stuff for a while.
Yeah, I mean, that blog post is alleging that he's been scamming off and on for years. The blog post is from 2018, and there were things from way before that, back from the 90s and stuff. So it does seem, allegedly, that he may have been running a bunch of little scams here and there throughout his real life, and he just brought that to TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah. And who knows? Maybe he started out with good intentions, but then after watching awareness cover all these scammers, maybe he figured, hey, this might be a ripe opportunity here.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
fertile land.
Yeah, and like this is the type of thing too that I don't think, this is just how my mind works, right? Because I look at the psychology of it too. Um, I don't think that it was just about the money for him, because if it was, I think we would have heard about a lot more victims so far, and I think he would have been in our lives trying to say, oh, like donate to my foundation and things like that. Like I think we would have heard more about it. I honestly feel like he got some other kind of, kick out of doing this, like being able to trick people, trick awareness people, trick people who are smart, are intelligent, right? And but yet he tricked us, and they get a kick out of doing that, especially if they are perceived as intelligent people. And he's like, ha ha ha! Like I've tricked these people who are smart and they have integrity, and they put out the facts and all of that, and here I am getting over on them. Like they get a thrill out of doing that stuff. So And there probably was also a thrill out of him trying to possibly pursue Stacy and possibly other women as well in a romantic way. So it's a whole big thing, and I don't just think it was about the money for him. And he was getting a lot of respect. I think he liked that. I think he
Yes.
loved when he would
Yes.
come into a live and people would be like, "Oh, like, Guardians, how are you today, sir? Thank you for your service." Like he always got attention any live he went into where people would give him attention, and I think he absolutely loved that. Like he loved that attention. Yeah. I think that was the primary reason why he was doing what he was doing, was all the attention he would get in all these different live streams.
Do you think he had anything to do with Tim and Angela's letters? I have no clue. I really, I don't have any clue about that.
Yeah, no idea.
No info on that.
Cindy, she was in here. Give me 1 second. Scammy, give me.
I'm reading the comments. Somebody asked about if his foundation was a valid foundation. I mean, based on the document that I saw regarding his military career, I'm going to go with no. Because how could somebody who is looks like he's a stolen valor candidate himself, how could he actually have a legitimate stolen valor foundation?
Right. And when I looked back last night at the emails that I got, and he uses the name like Stolen Valor Foundation or whatever in his email address, but it isn't like whatever username at stolenvalorfoundation.com. Do you know what I mean? It was like Stolen Valor Foundation at like whatever, like let's say gmail.com. That's not what it is. But
Let me read it. It's 100% fraudulent, not a 501c nonprofit, not registered with the IRS.
yeah.
So, yeah, that kind of answers that question.
Yeah, I wish they would have shown screenshots of that, because there is a site where you can go online and check that and take a screenshot of it. I haven't checked it. I should, but that would have been something helpful, I think, to show during that live too. That's why I was so confused the first time I watched the live. I really was. But um uh I have a separate question, Scammy. Did you might not remember, but did you want to bring up anything about the I don't know, maybe check.
You want to text it to me?
Yeah, give me a second.
Yeah, I agree I agree with that, Lance. Can you imagine how busy awareness would be vetting everyone? I mean, because here's that fine line, Lance. People say, why do people look up people all the time? That's wrong. You shouldn't be digging into people's personal lives. Yet those same people will say, well, why didn't you look up that person? I'm not going to spend, a majority of my waking day doing background searches on everybody that comes into my lives. It's not going to happen.
Right. I mean, and the other thing is, we spend so much time already that you some of you may not realize, reviewing content regarding, what's going on with the scammers and the beggars and everything else. Every day I get new accounts to review and to look at, uh, and that, people are asking me for help in exposing And it's a lot, like there's just so much going on TikTok with so many shady people, that you know it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
You just can't even imagine, um, how many that I get referred to every day, and how many are out there. It's
Diamond, there no need. It's true what we have learned about Guardians. Nothing's changed. He hasn't come forward. The only thing that has changed is um, there's been some more information that um, people found overnight that wasn't discussed in the original live.
Yeah, so I text message you, Scam.
Okay, let me check that. Hold on.
We don't have time to vet everybody. What up? Is he live on the Spiteful? What does that mean? What new things? Oh, a lot, a lot. I'll post this whole live on you.
Um, yeah, Scam, we can if she wants to come up and find what she found out.
Yeah, that would be that's something else that some more truth
Yep.
that we have looked into. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, Breezy, if you want to, you can come up here. Lee, okay, I'll bring you up quickly. I know there were some people that requested. I didn't know if it was a mistake or not. So, hi, Lily.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Unfortunately, it would be nice if he could come up and actually take accountability or an explanation. I don't think that's going to happen. But I just wanted to jump up and I've been on TikTok for 3 years, and some of the red flags that I see, and I don't know, just for other people, and they can take my advice or not. These are the things I'm okay with. I'm okay with people getting gifts during their lives.
Yes.
I'm okay with battling.
Yep.
I'm okay with people that have businesses on the side or doing something on the side like Texas Tiff or Judge, if people want to buy something from them. But what I'm not okay with, and I think people should question the integrity of these people, are people who are in a group, and if something happens or a disagreement or whatever, the first thing they do is jump into the group that they previously talked bad about and start giving out your personal information or hate bonding or doxing or that kind of thing. So if you at one time followed a group and they sort of split up and you see somebody doing that, I think for me, I don't want to mess with them anymore because I mean, it's it, so that's why I made the joke sort of like, is now Florida man's probably on right now defending Guardians of Valor just because of his hatred of you and Scam.
Probably.
Yeah, I
Oh, I'm
mean,
sure. I'm sure some of the stuff that will come out is, and I know I saw some of it last night in chat that we knew about him all the time.
yeah,
We were in on trying to collect the money for the reward. The GoFundMe was a scam made up by Guardians and by Scammyclaus. I listen. I know that's all going to be out there. I saw it in the chat last night, and it's really funny because, I saw a lot of clips of the live with the comments last night, and a lot of the people, a majority of the people in there, were putting stuff in there like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this! I'm shocked." They were getting the information like we were, yet the only people that didn't seem shocked about all this were people that follow Florida Man. You know, I didn't see any of them saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe this." All I saw was them going after me and scam.
Well,
You
Yeah, I
know,
mean, I have a bunch of screenshots and
that has me wondering.
yeah, I have a
well,
bunch of the screenshots, and one of the mods said to someone, everyone is welcome in here, be respectful. But then people were in the chat saying disrespectful things about me and Scammyclaus, and we weren't even in that live. And
Yep.
honestly, that is not a live that I would ever go in because Florida Man and other people who helped to harass me are in there.
Well, not
And every
only
chance
that,
they get, they do that. So
not
like
o-
I'm not going to go in there.
not only that, a lot of the stuff that it comes out that Guardians has done, Florida Man has done, and
well, another thing I saw was there were people in Homie's life saying, "Oh, you really, stood 10 toes down for GOV," or "Oh, you really had his back," or whatever, like, in an insulting way. Yet they were on Homie's live, and Homie had his back. And it's like, so why are you calling out one person for believing or standing behind him when the host that you're on the live for and you're supporting had done the same thing because he had been duped as well?
well, but
So
that's always the case on here.
it's,
When people don't like you, because of things, truth that you've brought out about a person, they're going to always claim that you're a liar and that you knew more than you knew. And that's just, unfortunately, that's part of what TikTok is about. You have people that support Florida Man, you have people that support me, and then you have the people in the middle that, don't talk about either side. Um, and that's always the case. I mean, that's always the case.
Oh, and the one named person we can all, if you can, if you've been listening a long time, about screams at everybody about questioning people's sobriety and don't talk about sobriety and it sits with Florida Man, as we all know,
Yeah.
who questions everybody's sobriety. And the other thing that really gets under my skin, it may not get under other people's skin, is when we've had people in the awareness community who have decided now, like, a little back way to make money is pay me $20 and I'll drop the person, and then pay me 50 and they can come back up. And so they're taking money to silence the voice of a person who may be defending themselves or whatever the case may be. Just the money to drop and bring back up. It's like, to me, in my mind, that's just an underhanded way of making money on the app. And I don't like it. I don't participate in those lives, but anyway, and then of course the always behind the scenes stuff, and I know Scam, you dealt there, we could go on and on about different people, but the stuff that happened with Polly and then other people where your awareness, but on the side you're texting like Guardian is now, he's going to lose his leg. That was like the worst lie to make up, especially after him knowing so much about Tim Nash.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
I put in the chat, like, why didn't he just borrow Jen Steeler's boot? She has that boot with all the Steeler stickers on it or whatever. But one more thing, and then I'll get off. Amanda Bowden used to do this all the time on the texting between two people, like it wasn't her texting to herself.
Right.
And the problem with that is it's a hard thing to do. She would constantly get caught up by saying me instead of like, Amanda, quit doing this to Amanda. She'd be like, stop doing this to me.
Right.
And she would be a police officer or something. And it was like, girl.
I've seen those messages.
Is
Yeah, I
it?
mean, that's a very difficult thing to keep up with. And for somebody to do that, it's very, like, that's just bizarre, so bizarre to me. So bizarre. So, but yeah, I mean, I just want to clarify that, like, me, myself, I don't condone the doxing stuff he did. I don't condone any of this stuff
No,
he did. He
I
definitely
agree.
had a lot of people fooled. And, you know, he's not welcome in any of my spaces. Like, he's getting blocked. I hope he does not try to email me or reach out to me. Like, I want no further contact with this person. Somebody does this kind of stuff, that's it. Like, I don't even want to have, honestly, I don't even want to have a conversation with him. I don't want to ask him questions. I don't want to give him any platform. Nothing, nothing. I want completely cut off. Like, he doesn't even exist. He does not exist to me anymore from this point forward.
And
Nothing. Absolutely
and
nothing.
I agree. And the only thing that I want to add to that is, it seems that, besides everything that he's done on this app, it does sound like he needs some help, you know, because it's not normal behavior. And, I do hope whatever the issues are, I hope that he gets some, I hope he gets some help because, there's something definitely not right with that type of thinking,
Yeah, I completely agree.
And
Completely agree. And people who do that kind of stuff, I want no part of
Yep.
whatsoever. So, um yeah, I don't want to hear from him. I don't want to hear, there are no answers or excuses or explanations he could ever give um to
Thank you,
justify
Stacy. Thank you for
anything he's
answering.
done.
Appreciate it, Stacy. Thank you for coming in here and clarifying some stuff. I really appreciate that.
well,
Thank
one
you,
more
Lately.
thing. If you guys ever see me in somebody scandalous live, usually I private, so it goes into ghost as soon as I go in. If I like scroll by and I hear that they're talking about something that, like, especially with FM, might be giving away some information. But the one thing, uh, so I'm not doing it to be like, two faced or whatever, but the one thing I want to apologize, I feel bad for you, Scammy, is why do I always forget her name? The lady that wants to move to the Middle East and has
Oh,
the,
Pam.
yes, Pam. She made that gigantic deal about how traumatic it would be for her because of the CPS thing. And I understand. I don't think anybody should be doing any false CPS claims. It clogs up the system unless they really know that the child is in danger.
Yep.
But what she forgets is that she's been bragging for I don't know how long about trying to get your wife in trouble at work. And you guys have a child that you raise.
Yeah.
And your child is dependent upon, well, not just your retirement, but your wife's work.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go after somebody with a child and do something that will affect that child, I just think it was completely hypocritical.
Absolutely.
Um,
And the fact is, I have never called any agencies on her whatsoever. I have never taken anything off this app with her. Everything I've said to her has been in video form or me in a live. And the fact that she chose to supposedly pursue that route again just shows you, as I always like to point out, the hypocrisy on this app is ridiculous.
It's wild. And I did go into that live when she was saying that, and I said something. I said, but wait, weren't you? I was on my backup. I said, wait, weren't you the one that was trying to get Scammy's wife in trouble? And she has a child that relies on her. So what about that?
Let me guess,
And
you're blocked.
I didn't.
You didn't get blocked.
She was so busy ranting I don't think she saw the comment. So, had she seen it, I'm sure, and that's why I was on, on a backup. But anyway, well, that's all I had. I just wanted to say that I love both you and Slam. I've been following you a long time, and I appreciate the hard work that you do. And any hate directed towards you, I just, I obviously don't pay attention to it, but I also don't like it. So anyway, I appreciate you letting me up.
I appreciate it, Lily. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Have a
you
good
guys, yeah, you guys have.
Oh, I think I'm sorry. I dropped you. I dropped you too fast. You know, the hate, the stuff that, Florida man, puts out, and, the people that support him, put out and say, and, that's always going to be the situation, and there's nothing that I can do to dissuade them from thinking what they want to think, and there's just no point, there's no point trying to do that. I don't even try. I mean, I put the truth out on here. If they don't want to believe it, that's fine. I have never come on this live and lied about people, which is pretty much what that happens all the time. We're going to talk about that in a minute. One other thing, if you missed the live yesterday, we're going to kind of transition into this. It came out yesterday that there were more charges found against Florida man in Florida in a different county. And again, just to show you, and it's almost like the same mindset that we were just talking about with Guardians, what was found out was that Florida man had charges against him because he was going into restaurants. And if you've ever seen those donation boxes that are near cash registers, and, there's candy in there, and it says, donate money, to this organization, and you're supposed to take a piece of candy type of thing. It came out that he was stealing donation boxes that were meant for breast cancer, for people that were battling breast cancer, for breast cancer organization, all that stuff. And he was, Scam has it on her page, so you can read the affidavits and the court documents and all that. So, with that in mind, you would think, well, that's hearsay, you're not showing anything, and that's fine. Scam has it on her page. But yesterday, from what somebody told me, was he admitted he did it. He admitted he took boxes of money, and what he would do is he would empty the box out, and then he would go into a restaurant with an empty box, and he would switch it out for the one that was full, and he would take that box. According to the owner that was in charge of placing these boxes, it had happened several times. And not only did he admit to it, but he even threw in there that he even ate all the candy.
Yep. And laughed about it.
And laughed about it. And again, the question needs to be asked. Who would still support that? Who would still support somebody who not only did that, but somebody that admits to it and laughs about it? We have all been touched with cancer in some way, shape, or form, whether somebody's fought it themselves, somebody's fighting it now, somebody has a family member, somebody has a parent. We've all been touched with cancer, and we've seen the ravages of cancer. We've all had loved ones that have passed of cancer. And the fact that he made such a mockery of that, again, it's like, where do you draw the line where you decide this guy's a piece of shit and I can't anymore with him? I mean, where do you draw that line? And again, I question how these women over there, because let's face it, it's 99% women. How can these women continue to go in boxes with him, joke around with him, knowing everything that he's done? And this is yet another new piece of that puzzle of the shithole of his life. And they're okay with it. But it gets better. It gets better. Breezy?
Yeah, it definitely gets better.
All right. So
Do you want
everybody
me to big box
remembers.
you? Do you want me to big box
Yeah,
you?
you can.
Okay.
So about Holly Mae and Ratina, but it was mostly about Holly Mae. Well, he made a big production about these mailers that he had purchased, and he showed a receipt. I spent $800 for neighbors, and everybody was in there. Oh, that's so funny and everything. But he showed a receipt. He ordered these mailers, and he spent $800 of his own money to slander somebody in their own community, which would be bad enough.
Yeah, I think he said it was like you think he said it was going to be like 1,900 mailers
Right.
that were going to be sent out, and it had like Holly Mae and her husband's picture on it with all these false allegations, whatever it was, a bunch of detrimental things about them, and he was going to send them out to like 1,900 of their closest neighbors in their community.
Now, and
Yeah.
the thing, and I know you're gonna discuss this further, but if you remember, at the beginning of when he started talking about the mailers, he said, "I'm going to be ordering these mailers," and he said, it's going to cost me a little over $800, but that's okay because I gave that amount of money for Hair Junkie's funeral. And I'm kind of like, well, that's a really weird thing to bring up. And then, of course, again, I thought he stole all those cards from the shop in Florida. So, he is probably going around and selling cards, wherever he's driving around in the country to make money. So the money that he's using is not his own money. It's stolen, stolen collectible money. But the thing that was interesting was that at the beginning of the live, when he talked about what he was going to do, all of a sudden, like midway through talking about these postcards and all that, all of a sudden he had a receipt and it was all paid for already. And he had an order number, and it was like the lamest receipt I've ever seen because I have never gotten a receipt that looks that generic in my life from anything. So that warranted some questions, I think. And Breezy,
Yeah.
take it over.
So we did some research into this because not only do I not agree with anybody doing that, that's terrible. And I wanted to ensure that if it was ordered, that order be canceled because that's disgusting. But B, if it even was ordered at all. So I reached out to the company that he was using. And I did get a response back. They were very helpful, very helpful. So let me turn my camera on here. Okay, so this is the email response I got back. No problem at all. Our IT and customer service teams have thoroughly reviewed all of our systems to confirm that this order was not placed or fulfilled by Teradel LLC or through any of our white label sites. We did find the account he created with us, which includes a map that matches the information in his quote-unquote order confirmation and the location you mentioned. However, no orders were ever placed. I also want to reassure you that Teradel will never produce or send any materials containing hate or slander. This type of content violates both our internal mailing standards and USPS guidelines. We've deactivated his account internally and will continue to monitor for any new accounts tied to his name or to campaign names similar to what was sent over. So he did have an account with them. He did create the campaign, but the order confirmation, the receipt was fake, as we suspected. He lied. So he's all about, oh, I'm transparent. He lies. He's a liar. And the order was never placed, but better yet, they will not allow him to place any orders through their site or any of their white label sites that connect with USPS at all. So he will not be able to, if they find one in his name, it will be deactivated.
No, that's
They
not
will
the
not
safe
do
and use
business with him. Yeah, and this
they
company
connect through USPS. So anything connected to USPS with his name on it will be deactivated.
Yeah, this company does not want anything to do with this type of hate or slander that he is trying to spread. This company does sound like they have integrity and morals, and they want no part of anything that he or others are trying to do with regard to that. So,
and let's
and they're
face
going to be
it.
on the lookout if he tries to create other accounts or other campaigns like this.
And let's face it, because let's say they were to do something like that, they would be on the hook for it.
Oh yeah, that could be a lawsuit. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So this again, you know what we've been saying here on this live. You got to know who you're getting information from, and I be careful with who we believe. Right? I mean, we were duped by guardians. You know. When people say they are who they are, or they're doing something, or they've done something, you need to make sure that they're transparent and they show you proof of it. Because again, how many situations have we pointed out where Florida man says something and then we prove it's not true?
And that's a very good point to make, because now that we're aware of everything with Guardian, well, what we know, at least, it might not be everything. Excuse me. Once it was verified that he had these multiple accounts and that he was scamming Stacy and that he's lied about so many things, that's the difference. Because now me and Scammy, and I'm sure many of you, want nothing to do with him, right? We're going to block him. We don't want to hear from him. We don't want to speak with him. We want nothing to do with him.
Yep.
Where is that same energy with Florida man? When they find out that he's lying, he's manipulating, he's stealing, all of that is proven too. But are any of them saying, okay, we found all this out and now we don't want anything to do with a person like that? No, they keep supporting him. So that just goes to show between us and them. Because we have no problem say and cutting them off when we find out that they're a horrible person.
Am not for any man going after any women on this app, and I will do what I can to help them, or stand up for them when needed. And if that means emailing a company or whatever it needs to be, I'll do it. And, that's not being done on that side. And it should be for any women, whether you like them or not.
Yeah, the sound went off for a minute, and that was, of course, because of my fantastic wireless connection. So I'm going to move for a minute. So, because I want to say again what I said because I don't think it was picked up. Can you guys hear me now? Just to make sure.
Yes.
Okay. One of the comments in the chat last night during that first live on Gov, somebody put in there, well, I'm sure Scammyclaus is going to defend him and, still support him after this live. And I saw the person who said it. And it's somebody that, is in Florida Man's Lives all the time. And my answer to that question is absolutely not, because I have integrity. And when I see somebody doing sketchy ass shit, I want no part of them. I don't want to be associated with them. I don't want to be in contact with them, let alone ever being alive with them or in a box. And the difference is, again, integrity. And I do have a moral compass, unlike those people over there that support him. You know, as I said at the beginning of the live, we put information out there about Guardians that wasn't even put out yet because we want people to know what he's done. We wanted to put another layer of information out there because we don't want people falling for him like we did. So,
Absolutely.
Cam slams messages from what?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any messages to be concerned about.
So,
And I guess it was cut off, but when the sound went out. But I was saying, and I'm sure Scammy and Scam feel the same way. Whether I don't support any man going after women on this app. Women are especially vulnerable. And whether you agree with or like who he's going after or not, you should have the same energy to help that woman as you do. Like I said, me and Holly Mae and me and Bettina are not friends, by any, we're not best friends. Now, me and Ratina are good now. Me and Holly Mae are good now, but we're not friends. But I'm not going to sit by and just watch him go after any females on this app. Whether I agree with them, whether I'm best friends with them or not. I mean, if he started doing the same things against, say, Mallory tomorrow, I'd be against that too. And Scammy and Scam would as well. So it's about integrity, and it's about being for what's right and what's wrong, no matter who it is.
and thank you for that information regarding what Florida Man's talking about. I don't care. I don't care what he's talking about because this is typical Florida Man. When we put out truth about him and we show facts to disprove what he says, what he does is he just attacks people. And he's attacked me a lot. He's attacked me a lot, and yet I'm still here. And I'm still going to be putting out the proof, and I'm going to still, be putting out information about him that is factual. But I can guarantee you that the information that he's putting out, majority of stuff that, besides posting pictures of me, which are obviously factual, the information he's put out about me is not true. The information he's put out about, about aspects of my life are false. So he can do what he wants. I mean, believe me, I've danced this dance many, many times, many times. So, but I bet he won't. I bet he won't admit the fact that he lied about those mailers. I bet he won't do that.
No, show how he made that fake receipt, Chat GPT or Word document, whatever it was. I bet he won't say that.
That
But
was the fakest thing I've ever seen in my life.
again, that's his MO, He went on live when we were on live. Okay. So what he's gonna do is he's got somebody over here or he's listening, and he is going to post information up during his live that is going to bring attention away from what we're saying. So people over there don't listen and they listen to what he's saying, which is deflecting what we're doing over here. And he's done that his whole career on TikTok.
Deflect.
Sometimes I think, because like I said, that receipt was the fakest thing I think I've ever seen. Sometimes the stuff is things like that, like the receipt and other things that he has said about us, like these wild ass stories that are so fake and false. Sometimes I think that he makes this up the he like pushes the limits of saying like all these wild ass things just to see how many of his people like really do believe it.
To see how much
Like,
he can get by.
sometimes I think he puts this stuff out just to see how dumb his own followers are. I'm sorry to put it that way. Like how stupid his own followers are to still keep believing his crap. To see how much ridiculous stuff he can put up, and see if they still support him and believe him. Like I really think he posts and says some of these wild things, and when he sees them all believing him and supporting him, he's like laughing to himself. Like these people are stupid as hell. Like I really think he laughs about them behind the scenes.
It's the old,
because
let's throw shit to the wall and see if it sticks. And depending on how much reaction he gets from, people in his chat, lets him know, oh, okay, I can say shit like this and people believe it and they want more of it.
I think he laughs at them behind the scenes. I think after every live stream, he sits there and laughs. Like, ha ha ha, I put out all this ridiculous stuff and people still believe me. I can't believe I'm getting away with this and they're still believing me. And he just keeps it up.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it that last time that he had people cheering for him in the comments and laughing, and it was like obviously a lie.
Oh, the copyrights.
The copyrights, yeah, the copyrights, and they were in there like, "Oh my God, you're so awesome! This is so great!"
Yeah, remember?
And how he was going to going to court to get my protection order revoked when that's not even a thing. That's not even a thing. Like I've talked to the court, it's not even a thing. It's not any process that he could even pursue. Like all of those, like there's so many different things that he has said he's done or he was going to do, and no.
Well, and the copyright thing, remember, if it was true what he was doing, for the people that listen to him, that means that I would no longer be on this app, with my name. Pastor Petty would not be on here. Holly Mae wouldn't be on here, and a ton of other people. Because remember, he was all copywriting our names. And remember, he read that stupid letter that he wrote? From this point on, I am now the owner of these following names on TikTok. Oh, okay. Since he said it, I guess it's the truth. But yet these people are like, oh, that's so funny, Florida man. Oh, good job. Good job. And the best part about it is when you see the posts and you see the comments in there, you see exactly who the real sheep are that just follow along. They don't think for themselves, and they believe everything he says and does.
Yeah, and like if we were to put out some type of information like that we were going to do this or that, and then it didn't come to fruition, like, or if we accidentally put out something false, we would explain and apologize for that, and take accountability for that. But that's the thing. He'll make up all this stuff and then he just moves on to another topic. Like the stuff with the copyrights. He's never come back on and admitted, oh, that was all a bunch of bullshit. You guys, sorry about that. Like, and just like with
Or
this
these
mailer thing,
mailers.
he's probably not going to admit it. And he's not going to be like, oh, that receipt was fake, blah, blah. Like, he's probably just not even going to address it. And that's why he's live now, just talking about us and other things and other people, apparently putting out some other wild accusations. He's not going to address that. Like, he's probably not going to address that at all. He's just going to move on to the next thing and hope that people forgot all about the mailer thing. It's like, apparently there was, like a week ago, he said that he was going to join all these Facebook groups and post this stuff about all these different people on Facebook groups and all this stuff. And he provided a list of all the Facebook groups. Well, somebody sent me a screenshot of these Facebook groups and I went on to a couple of them and there's nothing posted on any of those Facebook groups. Like,
And said he already had posted, and some of them didn't even exist. Some of them, were not even there.
But
yeah.
at the same time, what I do is I blame the people that go into his lives for not asking questions. Because, as, a lot of people over there were saying last night with, I bet Scammyclaus is going to support, guardians, even when, the truth gets posted. I have an idea for the person who said that, and I believe her name is Ashley. Why don't you go into Florida Man's live and say the same thing? Say, well, here I have a question for you, since, you have now, people have put the truth out about you. Ask him some questions. And are you going to believe him? And are you going to support him now that we've put truth out about him for a long time? So again, as I always say about the hypocrisy, it is fine to have your own, your own beliefs on something. Okay? And if it's something that you don't agree with me or any other creator on this app that you don't like, just because there's another creator that doesn't like me or doesn't like what I'm doing, you need to have that same energy towards the creator that you're supporting. Because if you don't, then you are absolutely being hypocritical with that. So Ashley, I think you should ask Florida Man about all of these things. And we've put the truth out there. And are you going to defend him now, even with the truth out, like you said to me? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, and I just want to circle back to the stuff about Guardians. I am glad that they held that live last night. And again, I did have to kind of watch it twice to get all of the relevant details, just because I think it was moved through kind of quickly and everything, and I didn't. It was hard to keep up with. Yeah. So watching it, the replay, I was able to pause it. I was able to actually look at and read all the screenshots. I was able to rewind it if I didn't catch something right and listen to it again. So I do appreciate them doing that. And it just created a basis for us to also do our own research on top of what they already did and build upon that to, come to the conclusion that we've come to. So,
Yes,
so I do
absolutely.
appreciate that they did put out what they put out, and it allowed us to move forward and to quickly, address it and, cut off all communication with Guardians at this point.
Yes, 100% agree with that. Is there anybody in here that has any questions? Because I'm going to wrap things up soon. If you have any questions for us or, anything about Guardians, I know that this live will be reposted on YT. So if you missed any of it, you can, go catch the whole thing on YouTube. But if there's no other questions, I'm looking at the comments right now to see if there's any other questions.
And if anybody has any questions for me at all, that I can clarify anything that you think about later or anything like that, feel free to message me.
Yep, me too.
And first, you kind of need to look into, for anybody that, has been threatened with anything by certain people that they need to look into. I'm happy to help.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. So, I don't see any other questions. So I'm going to wrap things up here. Thank you to all the mods for coming in and helping out with the chat and all that. Thank you for the people that came up in the live, Breezy, Scam, and Lily, and Truth. I appreciate you guys coming up here, and thank you for everybody coming in the live today. Those of you that normally come in here. We've all been duped by guardians. It doesn't, it is a very uneasy feeling. But, what you do is you lick your wounds and you move on. It's not the first time, personally that this has happened to me. But
Guardians of Valor is officially on the naughty list now.
yes, he is. It's not the first time this has happened to me. As I said, there's I'm not going to be a creator that does a background check into every single person that that come into my boxes or come into my lives. I don't want to live like that. I would rather be a trusting person. And if I get burned by somebody, on the positive side, I know that there's a lot of people that I've met on here that are good people. And I would rather be that person, than being somebody that, trusts nobody. I always joke about that. I always joke about, oh, trust nobody on this app. And you shouldn't. But, there are people that, you've known for a year, 2 years. And you're pretty confident that they are what they portray themselves to be. But be careful. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again: do not send cash for somebody. Do not send money on this app. If somebody is, like Lily said, that has a business, and they're actually selling a product, and you can trust them, and they've done no shady shit before, then yeah, absolutely. With anything like that, still make sure it's something that you are comfortable and confident in. But people that post their freaking cash apps and all that in their bios, and they're not actually they're not actually supplying you with something that they create. They're not making something, or they're not you're not getting something in return for it. Don't do it. Because, like we've said with all these people, all these scammers on here, whenever you send cash money to somebody without getting something in return, you don't know where that money is going to. And you don't know what they're going to use that money for. So, donate locally, especially this time of year before Thanksgiving and before Christmas. Make sure that your money that you've worked hard for goes for something that is legitimate. So on that note, listen, I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. It is Friday. I have no plans on going live at all until, next week. The weekend time I do like to spend with my family. That doesn't mean if Truth isn't live, I might pop in and be in a box for a while, but I don't plan on hosting any lives until next week. Okay.
Well, I've been trying to work on a live. I have a bunch of creepy individuals on this app that need exposed. I've been referred a bunch of them over the past week, and I've been researching into them. They are accounts that are doing very inappropriate things on live streams. I think you probably know what kind of content
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So the problem is that I have to compile up all of the videos that I do have. I have to redact and blur out a lot of things because they're, even though they were live on TikTok, and they got away with it, and they keep getting away with it. And some of them have been doing this for months and months and getting away with it. It's not appropriate for TikTok. So I have to be able to, redact and blur a lot of what's actually going on in these videos. And so I am working on that. I have 5 or 6 accounts in that I want to discuss.
That sounds good. That sounds
Yes.
good. So keep your eye open for that. At some point, Scam will be on live to discuss those matters. But other than that, again, guys, everybody have a wonderful weekend. I hope there's nice weather where y'all are. And I hope you can get outside, get some fresh air, get a little yard work done. Maybe go to your local food shelter or your food bank or pantry, see if they need any help there. It's the holidays and it is time to give back, if you can, in any way you can. So keep an eye out for places and organizations that might need a helping hand this year. Okay. Have a good one, guys.